Hey guys, this is Rainwolf, and we're back with the Yashahime Princess Half Demon. I probably slaughtered that. I'll let Kirito take care of that later.
Yeah, guys, this is Kirito Silverheart, and it's pronounced Yashahime Princess Half Demon.
And this is Asuna Silverheart.
Is it working? Okay. This is Lyria.
And this is Sarah Buttons.
Yes, as she just introduced herself, we have a guest with
Yeah,
us,
I'm sorry.
Sarah Buttons. She is also, the funny thing is, the sister to Asuna.
Yay!
Yay.
So we ended up having an extra person tonight because Kirito originally had some stuff going on that he wasn't sure if he was going to make it tonight, but luckily he did, since he is our control unit.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm real happy, really happy that I was able to make it for tonight since we're discussing episodes 2 and 3 back to back. Last week, things got a little crazy with our schedules and stuff, so we decided
Let's
to do a
just say we
combo
got
episode.
trashed.
Well, I wasn't just going to throw our business out there like that, Wolf, but whatever.
A little bit. Just a tad.
Some of us maybe a little more than others, but that's neither here nor there.
So the first off I'm going to say is from a comment we had on episode 1, and I'm thankful for all the people that have been viewing so far. The ones that have left comments, have
you guys rock.
We're happy to see it. So the first is from Zach Plasted. I think that's how it's pronounced. You actually brought up, and we did know about this, but we didn't say it on the last time, was that with Inuyasha and Kagome, they are married at this point throughout the series.
Yeah, it's one of those things too that like we talked about, like you don't always think of every little detail because it's like some of us already know, but it is good to have that information out there for the ones of you that don't, that maybe like this may be your first time watching anything in the realm of Inuyasha, so that way we have that out there so everyone knows. Although I'm fine if they just want to shack up, like I don't have I don't know, it's fine.
So we're going to jump into this with episode 2. It's pretty interesting because from the concept from seeing some nostalgia, and now we're seeing pretty much on how the twins, on how their upbringing and how close they actually were in the beginning.
Yeah, that was a pretty heartfelt and a little bit of a heartbreaking scene right there. I did like the connection that it showed between the two of them.
Well, they were 4. They would have been, I believe it was like 4 at the time. So these are little baby half demons running around the forest, like they look like little wood fairies, and it was really cute. And then it was really sad.
And forest fire.
Yes. And Toa actually loses track of her sister for a minute, and she runs back. She realizes she left her because she becomes afraid because all the animals are fleeing the forest fire, which if Bambi taught you anything, if you see the other animals running, you should run. So she loses her. She turns back to go get her. She goes to grab her, is hugging her, and this giant tree falls, and it's bad time for everybody. So she's pretty much under the assumption now her sister's dead. And then something happens and she's ported over.
And come to find out that we find out a little later, it's actually the Silver Pearl that has ported her to the modern era. And it's interesting, it's like, and the funny thing is, not too long after porting over, there is Kagome's brother right there. I'm like,
well, my favorite's the cat found her first. The cat's just like, the cat was like,
the cat's still alive.
That cat is over 15.
And that's one of the few times that it wasn't a cat trying to eat somebody either. Yeah. It's like, you're not dead. Okay, well, I'm not going to.
Well, and not to spoil anything, but there's a lot of things in the series that
that cat doesn't look as fat.
If they put him on catnip, they put him on kitty diet, is what the special cat food.
Kitty keto.
Keto cat food. Kitty keto.
I'm just kind of wondering, it's like, why is he there so late? But then again, his grandpa still lives at the shrine.
He was a teenager then. If you look at his uniform, he's a teenager, so he was still living in the shrine. So
that does make a lot more sense.
I noticed details. So yeah.
Yay!
And it's kind of funny on like as soon as he pats her head that he figures, oh wait, you're not from here.
No, he had that. Well, at this point, I'm pretty sure they told him what was going on.
Yeah, and the bond he has with pretty much, even though it's just his sister, but with the interaction he had with Inuyasha, it's kind of formed even though he hasn't physically gone there, he has a bond to that world.
Yeah, like, so he had that moment, it showed the moment or whatever. And he knew that, like, she's, not from here, so he has to take care of her in some form or fashion.
I was just extremely proud of myself that I actually knew who it was.
That's okay. I would have been like, that's some guy.
Yeah, he actually did. He's listened to me. He's paid attention to me. I'm very proud of him. Height of our relationship here, he actually listened to something I told him. So
now that we know, Toa is 14 years old with the time skip after Kagomi's brother has found her.
Yeah, and it looks like when you first go in, like, it looks like she's like this track star, and like she's like, and you're like, oh, she's like this upstanding student. That what?
No.
It's kind of
Mm-mm.
like she's at least super athletic, which is that
We all know why.
you know.
Well, she also thinks she's really just a human. She doesn't think about being a half-demon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I mean,
even mentions that she kind of forgets some of the stuff. She remembers things. I think if it wasn't for her sister, she wouldn't remember those things. You also get introduced to May, which
She is adorable, by the
Soda's
way.
She-
biological daughter, which is super cute. And she calls it out Toa calls it out pretty early. She's like, she's kind of the substitute for my actual sister.
Yeah.
She's like, so she's very protective of her, and she talks about how great she is and how sweet and cute and how she loves her. And, it's kind of like that bittersweet type thing.
I find it funny when Toa leaves the room and closes the door, then Sota looks over and sees how Toa's dressed.
Yeah, why are you dressed like a guy? And immediately, not even
Again.
bad. She's like, it's easier to fight like this. And it's true. If you've fighting in pants, much better idea than fighting in a skirt. So if UFC has taught anybody anything,
It's like, the funny thing is, he just shakes it. He doesn't really, it's like, don't fight anymore, but he doesn't really get angry or anything.
yeah, we're
He
sending you to a girls' school so you won't fight. That's bullshit.
he also
I've seen
just
women.
shakes
Have
it
you
off.
seen women fight
Yeah.
in school? Like,
Hey,
I've seen it.
that's-
They're
that's-
vicious. Like, that's
oh.
savage.
As a member of the opposite sex, I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. Although I will say that over 2/3 of the fights I witnessed in high school were female v female. So
It's just funny on how Sota just shakes it off. It's like he's complaining about it, but he's not like in that angry fatherly, oh, don't get in fights.
and it makes you wonder,
accepting.
is it because he's just, the adopted father, or is it because deep down he secretly knows there's something up with her and she could kill me with a look?
Well,
And, he knows. He has an understanding. He knows demons are real. He's very aware
he grew up
of.
with a half demon.
Well, yeah, I think he got the
I think
sense.
he's chill though. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think he's just a very chill person. That's, I think, his personality type.
If I
He
remember,
also adopted her when he was a teenager, so at this point he's just like, whatever, sister, you do you.
if I remember correctly, when he first met Inuyasha, he had that same sense
Yeah.
that he got with Toa, so he knows.
He's
so.
acceptive to the spiritual and demon or energies.
Well, I mean, and that's family. That's that's the.
I was going to say the
lineage.
family does seem to be very, very spiritual, I guess you could say, very open and
Oh, look at his
empathic
grandfather.
and everything.
Well,
so
he never watched the first one, so he doesn't understand that. We
True.
know it, but he doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
So but he can sense it. So I mean, they did do a very good job of portraying that for people who might not have seen the first series. That of
yeah,
what's
I was
going
brought
on.
in right away on that.
Yeah,
I picked up right on it.
This is the family spiritual. They have something going on. The rest of us that have seen it, we know about Grandpa. We know about the shrine. We know about all this stuff, the well and everything. So.
With Sarah, or not Sarah, but it's kind of funny that when the fight that happens, and they're saying, "Oh, she's soft," and we'll see. They're like, "Oh, we gotta go get Big Brother now."
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently Toa's never finished off her opponent.
Yeah,
like just defends herself, takes him down a peg
She
and
can
walks
do it.
away.
Yeah, and the neighborhood hoodlums show up, and they're all just all like, "Bring it!" And she's like, "Okay." Then she whoops all their asses. Yeah, and then they're like, "Let's go get my brother," because obviously we can't finish a fight.
She could kill them if she wanted to.
She could, but she talks about them being weak, and
Yeah.
just not even physically. It weak as a person, and she knows this, and she even. She brings it up later.
I also think it's out of respect for her dad, her stepdad, whatever, his dad, because of, the thing that he tells her later on, I think it's respect.
Yeah, it's definitely obvious considering I already know who her real father is, her biological father, that
I think everybody.
obviously
And
you,
they do
obviously
say
you
who it
weren't
is.
raised by your real dad. Because A, those fights would have been over a hell of a lot quicker, and B, nobody would have walked away.
And then we jump over to now Inuyasha's daughter, and then now they have this snake demon? Or, well, we don't really know the demon they're hunting at the moment. And then
was
we
a
got the
centipede.
youngest child of riding Kalala.
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
little baby from the first episode, the little boy.
Yeah.
He was the one because it changes back over, and it's. I don't even remember if she said the baby's name.
This
I
worries me a little bit here.
think so.
Now I think about it.
What was his name? Hisui?
Something like that.
Was that Hisui?
I
But
don't know how to say it, but yeah.
it's Kuhaku's kid.
No,
Moroku.
No,
Moroku
Moroku
Moroku,
is Sango.
Sango's
Kohaku
kid.
doesn't have any children.
Kohaku is his uncle.
Sango
That's
is
right,
female
that's right,
demon
that's
hunter,
right.
yeah.
Kohaku is Sango's brother.
But
Getting
yeah,
the names crisscrossed here. I apologize.
Okay.
But the one little worry I have here is that he has his mother's boomerang and
No.
Kalala.
Please don't. No.
I think she retired from demon hunting. They do that because she has 2 daughters that when in the first episode, like they show her them walking by that demon, he senses it, but the girls don't. It's probably out of safety, so like she stays there with them, and she really doesn't need the boomerang or Kilala at that point. I mean,
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like we already have the parents of the twins missing. We have the parents of pretty much all the main cast's parents are missing.
yeah, they're not showing any of them.
Yeah, but
Everybody's gone.
isn't this what they usually do with like the children of sequels? It's like they focus primarily on
Yes, but
the
they
children,
still-
the grandchildren. They don't have too
don't
much
have a
interaction
passing.
with the adults.
But we
Well-
still have some, like, they're still around. They're not, like, gone.
Yeah,
Or there's
well-
still at least one parent around.
Yeah, I think what you're thinking of, though, and it's the same idea that I have sometimes with a lot of animated movies, I won't name particular ones, but that always there's one parent or another parent that is absent, usually because they're dead. That's when you start to get all the shenanigans and the trouble
Dead,
and the
or
things.
they're trying to stay away to keep their children safe.
Safe, yeah. So there's, I think that's an automatic assumption. We're not that far in. Doesn't mean they might not show up, but it is something that that we're all curious about because we were so attached to the original series. But it does make you feel a little worrisome. But I think the most interesting thing though was Inuyasha's daughter. What's her name? Moroha.
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 Yeah. Moroha.
She calls herself the demon killer.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm Moroha, the demon killer, and the demon
Well,
hunters are
she's
like,
a bounty
so you're
hunter.
yeah, she is. She's a bounty hunter.
hunter.
But that's actually what she calls herself, is the demon killer. And so they're like, the demon hunters are like, you're a bounty hunter? That makes no sense.
It's like, it's like they know that she's at least a half demon,
Yeah.
and they're like, wait, you're a half demon that's hunting demons? This doesn't make sense.
Well,
I
her
think-
father did the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to, well, yet again, he didn't know this. I think it's interesting too that she
No,
opened.
that I didn't know.
You didn't. Well, I know, but say you didn't.
Well,
If I didn't tell you.
This is something that's really
No, that I actually did know.
Well, the first episode, yeah.
No, I mean, aside from the first episode, that was part of my pre-knowledge coming into this.
So in case somebody doesn't,
okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay, hear me out. Okay, she's a bounty hunter. Wasn't the Wolf Tribe a tribe of bounty hunters?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Sorta.
actually. They kind of were.
She's kind of dressed like the wolf tribe too, because she's got
Yeah.
like the outfit is very
It's
similar to the wolf
The
tribe.
outfit's made out of the same material of the flame rat fur, like her father's outfit.
That's his.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that might be part of his outfit because the way it's stitched together.
That's a
because
possibility.
but yeah, that's my.
It looks very similar to it. It does.
But it also
Well,
has that
it
look
is.
from that wolf tribe.
I think it's interesting though. She opens, they're having the confrontation, and she's just like, okay, and she opens the compact that has like the rouge in it, and she's just like, if I put on this blush, my powers
more of
become immense.
Well, I think
Okay, I laughed hysterically at that moment.
I did too.
it's like a residue from the bead.
Yeah, but I mean, I know, but that's what it.
Yeah,
it
the
was.
way it looks and everything.
The way she said it too, the way it was said was comical to say. She's like, if I get my hair did and my makeup done, I will mess you up. Don't think I won't.
And we now come to find out that we know what these beads are called. They're called the rainbow beads.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we find that out when
Well, the rainbow pearls.
Or
Yeah, rainbow pearl.
When they're fighting the
Setsuna-
centipede.
Yeah, Sasuna shows up and she's hunting demons with them.
Yeah, and she is ready
she's
to
called
take
out.
Maroha out.
Yeah, Maroha calls her out immediately. Oh, this is interesting.
Well,
Running around with a half demon, bunch of demon hunter. Like, she calls that shit out fast.
Mhm.
She knows immediately. Which, of course, they can smell their like kind. They have certain abilities to sense.
They're siblings in a way because they're pretty much cousins.
They are cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
But they have that demon sense. They can sense that there's other demons around. They know that
Yeah.
they're there. So she calls her out pretty quick. But she's like, Setsuna is about to mess her up. Like, she's just like,
'Cause they
what
have
up?
the
I'm tired of you
bloodline
already.
of the strongest wolf demon known to history.
Yeah, and she also has one of the pearls as well. She has the golden one. Maroha has the red.
Yeah.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when those two meet, they also end up with the problem of the three-eyed demon that shows up.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
get over them. They can't get over their little conversation to take care of this demon because they could have taken care of it sooner.
Yeah, they could have took it out pretty quick. I think the arguing and the
butting of heads because she's a bounty hunter. This is my bounty, but they're actual demon hunters, so they're there just to kill the demon. They're not there for the reward or anything.
Yeah, they're doing it for the goodness of their kind hearts.
I don't know. I did like the banter between the two of them. It kind of made it a little more playful of a fight.
It was
It's playful and it kind of fits because she has the personality of her father, not
Yes.
Mohan, but the other one, the other twin.
What's her name?
Sasuna.
Sasuna.
She is so
Sasuna.
much like her father. It's not even funny.
I don't know. I felt like
Yeah.
Maroha does have some Inuyasha to her.
Well,
like,
yeah, she does. She kind of has that mix
From
of
the
Maroha,
exposure that I have
she
in the
does.
past, Maroha, she has his sass.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
She definitely has his sass.
She has
and-
his
and as
sass,
we go on, his little body motions he makes.
Oh yeah, she has that.
yeah. The she's very, very expressive with
Yeah.
The way he
Her
if she
physical
had
body
ears,
language.
it would twitch the same way his did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that banter was pretty funny. It was pretty entertaining.
It fits because they're cousins, but they don't know they're actual cousins. It's hilarious.
So, and then we see that, and then it kind of it jumps back over.
And the funny thing is, there's a guidance counselor office, and the way the guidance counselor goes about her being late.
Oh
he's just like, just don't let this happen again. And I'm like, man, I don't know what boarding school her dad decided to send her to, but these people don't give a shit. They're like, you
Well,
don't pay enough
Gabriel's-
money, we don't care.
True.
And the funny thing is, her expression is like, "Oh crap, they're gonna call my parents,"
Mm-hmm.
and they don't do it.
Yeah. And then you cut back over, and she's leaving school, and she's like jumping on top of these buildings and carrying her lunch around. She's living her best life.
Well, it's not her lunch.
Well, I know it's a sword, but it looks like her lunch. And
the box that has the maintenance
box.
kit in it.
Yeah, it looked like a bento box.
did look
Honestly,
like a bento
I
box.
was just like, "Oh, she's gonna have a snack."
I would climb if I could climb to the top of like
I wish I
a
could do
building
stuff
and
like
have
that.
snacks. Yeah, have a little picnic. But it goes back. It shows the bullies again, and now they've got the brother who apparently is some dude with a scar and an attitude problem.
This gang of bullies,
They're
they look
stupid.
straight out of like Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes,
Great.
Yes.
Thank
Their
you.
style and everything.
Yes.
I was half expecting like the big blonde haired guy from Yu Yu Hakusho to be like kind of a cameo ish type appearance or something, or they have the character designed after him. But I was like, no, I'm glad they didn't, because they would have ruined another one of my favorite animes.
I was just calling them the Poppin' Door Posse. Is what I was.
Posse.
Is it bad that I was thinking the brother was gonna have a pompadour?
I don't blame you. Like, I expected it too. If
I
he would have had a
thought that too.
pompadour with his robe and his like eye scar, I'd have been like, I'm done here. But yeah, their grand scheme is to like kidnap her baby sister, which that's like 17 shades of illegal, and her grandparents, and like tie them to the tree.
Well, her grandma and then great grandpa.
Well, yeah.
Just
Well,
specify.
great grandpa. Okay, can we talk about how great grandpa is now 900 years old? Like,
Yeah, he
Right?
he should. Well, if he's at this point, he either should be dead or old enough that he needs assistance to walk.
yeah.
Nah,
Oh no,
he's
grandpa
fine.
he keeps
I
going.
don't know. This kind of throws back to like Master Roshi for me.
I was
I
gonna say.
was about to say he's throwing senzu
Look,
beans in the
it's
back.
very Yoda, where he's just like, look
Yeah.
as good as I do at 250 years old. Like,
I wouldn't blame him if he has those sensu beads. I want
He
to
has
do
them in
a
the
stash.
He has them in
Yeah.
the back.
Oh, amen to
he's
that.
got him in the bag.
And now we got Big Brother beating on Toa.
Yeah, and then it was such a cheap move too, because he gets the other dude to pull the knife on the baby.
Yeah, well,
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
let's call
"What
it
is
out real quick.
wrong?"
Toa single-handedly takes down like what 4 or 5 guys like that. I mean, just boom, 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 and she's looking at the Big Brother just like, and you're next.
Yep.
And he's like, no. And the guy pulls the knife on the little girl. And I'm just like, okay, this is really getting absurd.
I was like, that's dirty as hell. Like you're like, I'm gonna beat her up, but I need assistance. Like,
Yeah, I need a
really?
hostage.
I need a hostage to make this work. Like, that's bull.
I was glad that the younger brother who got his butt kicked in the beginning of the episode even called it out. He was like, bro, don't you think this is going a little far? He's like, go big or go home. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, you're a douche.
Then he goes to the flashback of telling her to keep, like, that the conversation he had with Toa when she was much younger.
Yes, Soda had.
To hide her.
Where he talks about your powers are going to be our secret. And
Yeah,
she-
which was a nice little
Yeah.
callback because we did see when she got to the school that she was like, okay, nobody's looking, and jumps the fence.
Yep.
Like, single leap.
And then I think the cops are getting called. They bail.
That moment was hilarious. I'm sorry. The cop, like,
Grandpa's
they dip.
laughing at the top of the
They
stairs.
dip. Great grandpa standing here at the top of the temple
He's
steps.
like, they were just driving
and he was like,
by.
oh, look, they were just driving by. Ha ha. Fooled you.
Then we get the sense. She gets the sense of something's about to happen. The wind blows. Oh, and then it jumps back over to the scene where they're at the
Yeah.
centipede.
The centipede lady, demon.
Mistress 3-Eye.
Satsuna gets her beat taken.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she
so-
does do some cool stuff.
So let me just ask a question here. So I know that the Rainbow Pearls is kind of like this series version of the shards from Inuyasha.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming, yes.
From the knowledge
Was
we
it
have
really
on 'em right
that
now,
easy to gank a shard from somebody?
Back in the day when the series originally released, it used to be one jewel.
Shikon Jewel.
But normally, when it was shattered, if you found it, you could
Kagome.
absorb it and everything. But normally, you had to cut out the jewel from a person.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Well, and see, that's the interesting thing. Both of the twins have their jewel actually in their eye, but Maroha does not.
That's the weird thing. I'm kind of
I'm wondering. Well, I'm wondering
s-
if where she's like
I'm-
technically just a
quarter.
quarter
Like
demon.
a
Yeah,
quarter demon.
because they
Quarter
call her a half demon in the series, but I'm just like, wait a minute, Inuyasha was a half demon.
She's still considered a half demon.
Yeah, because the demon blood's gonna be stronger than human blood.
Yeah,
so-
so she's still even if it is like
So
she's
this isn't
quarter-
like the Saiyan rules from Dragon Ball.
No, it's
or
not
anything.
Saiyan rules.
Okay.
No.
And
It's different.
and also I can see that where she would still technically be half, because you got to remember the bloodline that she has is the bloodline of pretty much the king of the demons.
It is the royal bloodline of the demon.
Yes.
So no
So-
matter how much you would have to dilute it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, a gimme of it is easy AF for a half demon to lose their pearl because they don't have as much demon blood, so it's more drawn to full demon. I'm gonna give it that gimme.
We'll give you that for now, but the thing is, we also don't have a lot on these pearls because they weren't a thing before.
Yeah.
These are new.
And my guess is that this is something that's manifested because the Shankan Jewel does not exist anymore. Or to get rid of the Shankan Jewel, this is a byproduct of it.
Yeah, and I was gonna give it the gimme of Maroha's the only one who knows that she has a pearl.
Yeah,
Because she physically has it in her hand. You know, the other two have it in their eye.
they don't really.
Who knows
well,
when? They don't really know anything about it.
I think
So I was
Setsuna
going to kind of give it
knows
that gimme.
about it, but she really doesn't know what it's about or taps into it. And then Toa, she probably doesn't know any clue at all because she went through the portal, but she didn't know she was the cause of it.
Right. Well, we'll get to that. I'm not sure if I have debate about that, but we'll get to that with part 3. But yeah, I'm just going to give it the gimme of the pearls are more easily manipulated by full demons because they have more control over the power, I guess.
It's a possibility.
I'll throw it that gimme, and plus it sets it up for a really awesome fight later on.
Yeah, and more information to come.
So plot device number 5.
And it's fun. Okay, now we're into episode 3. It's kind of funny that when Toa goes to cut the centipede, the blade breaks, and then
Oh, we didn't explain how they got to that because they got to that world.
Yeah. So the tree. There's a booming voice from the tree.
That's the sacred tree.
Yeah, but there's this booming voice coming from the sacred tree saying that, oh, the rainbow pearls are here. With this power, I'm coming back in this era, and opens a portal and sucks the two girls and the monster through it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
We'll backtrack a little bit. When we were talking about Toa having that sense by the tree with the wind and stuff, that's what she was sensing. And then the portal opened up, which happened to be the same portal that she fell through, which by the sacred tree.
Right.
So the tree, I think, is the gateway. So we find
out a little more about why the sacred. Well, a little more about Bone Eater's Well as well.
Yeah. The Bone Eater's Well, because it closed after Kagome came through. It was tied to her will.
Her will and also the shard.
Yeah, and because it doesn't work anymore. So I'm thinking, I don't know if the pearls existed prior to the teleport or not. I'm pretty sure they did because she has it in her eye, obviously, and I think it's linked to the tree somehow or something. I don't really know.
The thing is, during the forest fire, they weren't near the sacred tree.
Yeah, it has to be linked to it somehow.
Yeah, I think the silver is the one that opens the portal.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. But the teleport point is always going to be the sacred tree. Like if they, no matter what, so they're always going to fall through.
Because the trees still exist even in the modern time.
Yeah, and then that demon is also attached to it as well.
The root head.
The root head, and that's the one that Kikyo sealed.
Kikyo had sealed it, and then
you see it in episode. And got rid of it.
Yeah, you see it in episode 1 again.
Yeah,
and at the end of episode 1, we saw Roothead's little root attach itself to Tree of Ages.
Backstory stuff though. But going back to the thing, and I'll explain more when we get to that point.
So we jumping through the portal. Toa grabs Mei, pulls her out away from the sacred tree. Portal pops open. You got Maha, Sasuna, or if I'm still pronouncing her name wrong.
Yeah, Maroha, Sasuna, and Mistress Three Eyes in her secondary form, or technically third form.
She has both pearls at that point. She has the red and gold.
Yeah, first form is no pearls, second form is first pearl, third form is second pearl.
We don't know, and we don't want to find out.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I was really curious to see what would happen if she had gotten that third pearl. I was really curious. What?
That would be the end of the series.
And then she leveled the world, and the end. Pretty accurate.
The modern era doesn't have demon slayers. They do, but they're probably weak as hell. Or who knows? There's some secret organization somewhere.
I was gonna say, wasn't Bleach about that? Wasn't that?
That was different.
Oh my god, are we going to get a crossover? That'd be epic.
I know, I'm joking.
So to do that, then Toa goes to cut the demon, the blade breaks, and then the piece that breaks off falls next to Moha.
Almost hits Maroha in the face. And she was like, what the hell?
And then bullshit? Toa's like, how'd you break my... I don't know how to say that name.
It's the name of the blade. It's actually a replica of the blade.
Like, this isn't the real thing.
It's the same blade because Maroha has that blade. She has the legitimate...
Is that Maroha's blade? Okay.
That is Maroha's same blade.
That's what I
actually noticed that because Maroha told us the name of her blade. And then when Toa was talking about the blade, she called it the same name. She has the replica that was borrowed from the museum, if that's actually discussed later.
Yeah.
It's actually brought up not too long after this.
Yeah, the blade is called Kiku Jumanji.
Yeah.
Why do we have lightsabers?
Oh.
Because it's epic.
Well, it's because her power, that's one of
she
her
has
powers.
Yeah. Toa power comes more. She's more on the sword side of her dad, but the coloring is Inuyasha's. So that was very interesting. So, but
again, the same bloodline. So
same bloodline. Yeah. It's the same with Maroha. Is that her name? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is,
Maroha has both. She has the sword and the sacred arrows.
Yep. Yes. Well, the thing is, it's not Tenseiga.
No. Tenseiga was Tenseiga and Tenseiga were forged into
they're for his children.
Yeah. And then they got forged together to make one sword. And the other sword that Shishomaru has another name, and that was the one that was meant for him. I believe Inuyasha has the new... I don't know the name of the new Tenseiga, if it has a new name or not.
Because the Tenseiga is meant to protect humans.
Yeah.
And the other blade was to protect demons, but not to kill each other.
No, but they got forged into one later on.
Okay, I missed that, or I'm
Yeah.
not remembering that from the original series.
I got a refresher on it when I was watching with a friend of mine who told me what was going on. But yeah, and which you can forge one of the blades, like a blade like that, with the fang of a demon.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm pretty sure Moroha's blade's probably forged from her dad's tooth.
that's a possibility.
Because I remember in the series they had to repair Tetsaiga,
Well,
and they
the
had to
thing is,
use one of his
in
teeth.
Inuyasha,
They also
yeah.
focus heavily on the dragon that's drawn into it. If
Yeah,
you
and
notice.
I'm wondering where that's from because
Yeah.
if Inuyasha wouldn't be able to get a blade made from his teeth because his teeth are not long enough.
They're not. Yeah.
They're able to use to repair it because they're
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be a sealed weapon. It might have a seal on it.
yeah because
'cause of the
Tensaiga is
dragon.
actually has a seal or curse or whatever you want to say
Yeah.
that prevents full demons from touching it and using it. And I brought Tensaiga up because since they're all half demons, any of the three could possibly wield it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any of them could.
But I'm pretty sure it's still with Inuyasha.
Yeah, because we haven't seen it and it's not with their daughter.
Yeah, because she has a new blade.
So we go into all this after the whole centipede's dead. Tsusuma's trying to kill her sister.
Well,
Yeah, she doesn't know her, and
Yeah.
Toby keeps calling her by her name, and she keeps telling her things that she obviously does not want to hear.
Yeah.
Also, she knows that this is another half demon, or
Yeah, that's
And
because of Moroha.
Yeah,
And
and
Moana
she's
actually points out
Moroha, okay, single best scene that Moroha has had in these episodes so far.
with the skull.
She literally
Oh, I love
gets
it.
her jewel back. She gets the jewel back, looks at the two sisters, and was just like, so, yeah, you guys come from the same bloodline. And oh, by the way, it's Shishomaru's bloodline. And yeah, that's your older sister, and you're being a bitch.
Mhm.
Shishomaru's your dad. Congratulations.
Oh, you guys smell like Shomaru. Yeah.
The jerk of the jerks.
Which really makes me wonder, like, since we haven't seen Inuyasha or Kagome, how exactly, like, I'm really curious to see Moroha's backstory when we get to it.
Yeah,
I'm
Like,
really
the lead
To
up
see
to
what's
her.
happened, or if she's looking, if something has taken her
I think
parents
there's gonna be a
prisoner, if
lot
she's
more-
looking for them. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more backstory for her because we've pretty much mostly gotten the twins' side of their story. Majority of it right now.
Yeah, well, and like I said, we're only in episode 3. I think we're all like really wanting to get out of ourselves, but we're only in episode 3.
But you know what? I will say, even coming from me, who is relatively new to the series and everything, with my lack of experience with Inuyasha originally, the fact that all these curiosities are mounting up for somebody like me about their backstories and where this is going and everything is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because they are not playing too much on the nostalgia for those who were
They are
huge
building
fans of
a story
Inuyasha.
strictly on the children.
Yeah, they are building their own thing here. And I am really happy to see that. Because if it was literally just a Boruto situation where it's, pretty much the same story of Naruto and what happened to them, but their kids are having to go through it now, I would be done by this point.
I don't think... The thing is, Inuyasha, with the way the series originally went, there's no way to pull something like that with the series, in my opinion.
Same.
It's the way the story was told originally,
Mm-hmm.
the way the characters that are involved, the main characters, like Inuyasha, Kagome, Shishomaru, Moroku, not Moroku,
Sango.
but and Sango.
It's their story's over. That's
yeah.
it. Their
They
story.
wrapped it up
and-
in a pretty good bow at the
Yeah.
end of the original series.
There's things that we need to know still about what happened after, but their main story is over. And I think that's what this is. This is something new. And there's still a lot of questions. Yet we still do have a lot of questions about where people are, what's going on, why can they do this? Why this one can do that? So, but yeah, I think it's interesting some of the power the Setsuna has. Some of the abilities she's learned, some of them are very demon hunter like.
Even for just being... Oh, yeah. Well, we actually figure out more on why a lot of her skills are demon hunter-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've built the perfect killing machine. If you want to murder a demon, get another demon.
Yeah, you want to murder demons? Get the biological daughter of the prince of demons.
Well, the now king of demons because their father's dead.
Well, yeah, true.
So we go into And now it goes over to back to the feudal era, explaining the twins' story a bit more. That Shishomaru took them, and
they were newborns when that happened. 14 years ago, they were newborn.
Kade, there's nothing more that she knew after that.
Yeah.
But
And
at some
that
point,
leaves the question of who their mother is still. But like I said, I'm very convinced if he came and got them as newborns and took them away.
there
She
is
died.
the one thing that everybody doesn't want to be, but since he grabbed him from the village where Kade is at,
What?
I don't know.
the whole Shishomaru Ren type.
No. Shh. No,
We're still trying to map that out to not make it creepy.
Yeah.
And it's still creepy. And then
I mean, age of consent is completely
Ren,
different
then
over
there's the
there.
possibility that the mother is dead. Usually that happens a lot with demons.
Well, especially like where she was giving birth to twins in the feudal era, and they happen to be half demon, high risk.
That's even a higher risk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just throwing that out there to everybody.
But it could very well be someone else, another character that we've forgotten about from the past, or somebody we're not super familiar with too.
It could be nobody, honestly. It could be a whole new character.
It could just be a whole new character, some nice lady in the village.
Because
you don't know.
Because from our knowledge and also from what I remember, most of the people that had a love interest with Shishomaru are dead.
Yeah.
Well,
They died through the series.
yeah, most of them that had any type of, and it wasn't even. Shishomaru had a lot of one-sided relationships where it's like they're like, "I love you," and he's like, "That's nice." The whole time, Shishomaru's like stone cold. That's nice.
Yeah.
Then we have Satsuna coming back to the village, and all she said to Kade was a rite of courage and cowardice.
I'll be staying with you for a while.
And Kade explains that, and that's something I never knew about. Where she talks about, they push the lions will push the cubs into a ravine and see which ones live.
It kind of always killing the weaker over the strongest, but also then you also have the wolf mentality in that play as well, because they are a bloodline of wolf demon.
Mm-hmm.
No, aren't they fox demon?
I think they're wolves. No, or are they?
No,
fox?
they're
Dogs.
fox. They're
They're
dogs.
dogs.
They were dog demons.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
somewhere in one of those breeds. I can't remember at the moment.
They were canines. They were canines.
But yeah, he just pretty much left her. But what I'm wondering about though is when they were 4 and they were in the woods, we don't see him there then.
No, I think in the woods was the time after he had left them there, pretty much.
So that's why I was wondering if he came back and got her after the thing in the forest. Maybe he took her back in and then he dropped her off at the village.
He didn't drop her off. You could the way she looked and how old she was. She had walked from wherever she had been
before.
Yeah, she looked like she had been through hell.
If you notice, she has the tails now.
Yeah, she does have
the same thing that Shishomaru has. So she might have a somewhat transformation form like he did.
That's possible, even for a half demon, because if the blood is strong enough.
Well, I mean, Inuyasha had that period where he would turn full human or whatever.
Well, because that's during a new moon. And new moons affect demons as a whole. In their power.
It could be that, but I don't. What they do with the demons, what Shomaru did was he dropped them off to do the whole rite of passage as a demon thing. So, and then Kaede, is that her name?
Yeah.
Kaede, said, because they don't know where the other twin is, the whole wolf mentality that maybe she have killed her,
Yeah, since they didn't know that they were half demons, maybe she just would have killed her because she was slowing her down or dragging her down.
Well, Kaede even said it. Kaede said that she could have killed her out of hatred.
Yeah, out of hatred.
They're both, and as she says, uninformed half demons.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility, and you always run that risk of the good and the evil with the demons. So it's,
But we all know clearly that's not what happened.
No, because his brother's name or her brother's name.
Kohaku is Sango's brother.
Yeah, Kahaku. He even brings up the point that with the interactions he had with Shishomaru growing up, he would help him a number of times, but it was always difficult to understand his true intentions.
Yeah.
You can't really figure out. And then that's always the way Shishomaru was. You never really know, is this a play for something he wants in the end? Is this a play for something else?
I think the only person that could understand him was Inuyasha and Rin, but she could always see the good in him.
Yeah, and I think that's what helped, and that helped bring him to the side he is on now.
Yeah, which back to the the so-called mother, Shishomaru would bring gifts to Rin when he would come by, so he'd always bring her gifts. So he could have fell in love with someone who was interacting with Rin or being really nice to Rin.
That's a big
Or like a
possibility.
maternal figure,
So
someone who had
it could
taken a
be
maternal
somebody
figure to Ren.
just
I didn't think about that.
yeah, because he would bring gifts to her all the time. So he was in the village a lot. So just throw that out there. Sorry.
I think we just don't. As a female, and I don't know, there's probably a
And
lot of
during that
men,
time frame, with the
males
age
as well. That's super creepy if it were to be if he was raising a wife. But it's also the time period, like you said, and things like that. But it's what it is. Plus, he lives forever. I mean, he's gonna live a very long time. She's not.
And with bringing you that up, that because that's what he pretty much became to Rin as well. Since when he found her, she had no parent. I think they were actually killed fairly recently, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they were. There's a big debate between raising a wife or is it like a child. And I the way they grade that area is really nice. I hate to be that way, but like because you can't really tell if he was raising him a wife or a daughter. And
Yeah,
so either way, it's weird but not weird. I don't have an issue with it.
It's pretty much him being whatever she needs, I guess, maybe
Yes,
at the
it's
time.
whatever she needed. And I think that's
So I mean makes it slightly less creepy. It's a little odd. I think
It is.
and we all kind of are like, but there is a probability, like you said, there's a third party. There's still other people in the world.
Yeah, but like I was just bringing that up. But back to what we were talking about. The thing. Back on track.
but so far, and pretty much after their whole conversation and everything, it jumps back and with Kade talking about Shomaru, the twins, and everything of that, and then also with him talking about the interactions he had with Shishomaru, and then now we're back to the girls. Moha's like, stop being stubborn, and then you get the root demon attaching to Toa's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it attaches to like I think the pearl that's in her eye.
No, it's just a simple possession.
Oh, just a possession. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a
It
possession.
possesses.
That's where I got confused.
It was going for that eye though. It was like
eye?
Num eyeballs pearl num.
It'll possess anyone that it possesses. They're able to use its abilities. But
Yeah.
the problem
Well,
is here with this root demon being fairly weak. I'm kind of surprised it was able to last as long inside Toa as it had.
Yeah, we'll get to that part. My favorite part is coming up.
Well, but I kind of look at it in the aspect of Toa hadn't, from what we have seen, Toa hasn't explored her powers as much.
No.
It's
also they even said it though. Like Maroha says, she's even like, you weren't paying attention. That's why you keep your guard up, because she had really let her guard down because she's standing here arguing with her sister. Her sister wants to fight her. She's very conflicted, and she's feeling guilty. She feels bad because she lost her in the forest and all this stuff.
And she doesn't remember who she is, like that. Well,
her sister doesn't. Yeah, her sister doesn't remember her. It's very devastating, and I think she did let her guard down, and that's why I think it did actually hold on to her like it did. But it's immediately like once that happens, they realize that she's possessed.
And here's the explanation for the Hokuton or root demon itself is nothing special, but the problem, it can control the power of its host. So even if the host does not know its full potential with its power,
it's parasitic. Yeah,
it knows and it can use it.
Yeah, because it summoned the sword that she.
Yeah,
that she
right
hit
away. No problems.
Yeah.
It just materialized.
Yeah, because Toa only did it out of rage and a protective.
Emotion.
Yeah, she did it out of emotion.
And I find this even funny after that whole part we were about to skip over, actually.
No, we're not skipping it. I would have bring it up.
The mother or grandmother brings up the point that her eyes just look like Kagome's.
Yeah,
the grandpa knows who it is.
The grandpa knows.
He knows.
Maroha's just Maroha shoos them off to go hide in the corner, and the grandpa's just like, this is just like when Inuyasha used to come and
he
visit
wouldn't have stayed there.
Kagome.
Like, the grandpa was like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know your dad and mom.
He's like, been there, seen that, got the t-shirt. What's next?
She had to yell at him. That's the funny thing. And the funny thing is, Inuyasha always had to do that with him too, for any of those situations that came up in the modern world.
Yeah, it was so funny.
You really saw the Inuyasha in her.
He's like an ADD fascinated child.
Yes.
He's like, ooh, shiny stuff. Ooh, people will getting fighting. Yay.
But then you have like May, the little girl, who's like crying over her sister. No, don't fight no more and stuff. But anyways.
And well, it even shows again that one that
we missed like one of the funniest moments too.
No, I'm not done. We're not done because then once Toha gets because the possession goes to the sister May.
Yeah, after
Well,
Toa and her sister had
well,
a little clash
yeah.
off.
Yeah, and there's actually she does the cyclone burst, which was cool, and that was
She just
very
cuts it in half.
that felt very Demon Hunter to me.
No,
I was
find
gonna say, I have some comments about Cyclone Burst.
Yeah, Cyclone Burst felt very, and I love even Maroha was like, she's like watching it, she's like, well, damn, she's like holding on to stuff. She was like, well, that's a
what
thing.
I find even more funny that shows Moha shows her father even more is when she pops onto that little post and the way she positions herself on it.
Oh, the little perch.
Yeah.
Perch stance.
The way she perches herself on that post. That's so Inuyasha.
Yeah, extremely Inuyasha.
Yeah, I love the little stuff like that in this.
Little mannerisms.
Yeah, it's very I like how it feels different but feels the same. Like it still gives you the like it still feels like you're in the same world as Inuyasha. I mean, because obviously you are, but I also like the art style of it as well. It feels
I really
really
like the
good.
vamped up style they had.
Yeah, I really like it. It still feels the same, but
then
different.
we see a little bit of Blade's power because pretty much a dragon comes flying out to block the attack. That Toa's...
It's a red dragon, isn't it? It was red, right?
Yeah, it was like a red lightning dragon.
Yeah, very interesting on that. I would like to see more of that.
I want to know more about the blade. I'm really interested.
Yeah,
in the blade
I think it from my knowledge of Inuyasha, I'm pretty sure it's probably a sealed demon or a spell or so. It has to be something like that. It's very fascinating and interesting.
Well, and Maroha even calls it out when the demon hunters first approach her, threatening to kill her, thinking she was the demon terrorizing the village. She was just like, I will feed you to my sword.
Yeah.
Like, and it zooms in on the dragon, on the blade. And I'm like, okay, so obviously there is some kind of dragon spirit in this blade that she is channeling for all these abilities. I was like,
the blade is made from a dragon scale or something.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But
I mean, it's
literally
probably made by the
threatening.
same dude who made the other two swords.
Yeah.
Or three.
Oh yeah, the one that made Tenseiga and
Tenseiga.
But my mentality of it is like, literally threatening, like showing a dragon on the blade and threatening to eat your opponent.
I'm terrified.
Knowing that she is either
Be
demon or
feared.
half demon, it's like I'm really expecting a full manifestation of a dragon
I'm waiting to see
like Shenron from a Dragon Ball and swallow them.
I'm really waiting to see the capabilities of that blade because with the way swords have gone when it comes to Inuyasha, it's a very interesting concept the way the artist has or the author has done when it comes to blades.
Yeah. But I like when when May gets possessed, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That is she picks up that rock.
Yeah, bless her with the little rock.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a creepy moment because it really makes me wonder, okay, obviously the demon has control of her.
Yeah.
But does the demon give her like superhuman strength or anything? Like is she literally going to be able to bash?
Yeah, you're like, what can you do? And then she goes up, Toa comes down, and saves the family.
First,
Well, the thing is, we're not going to get the superhuman strength because
Satsuna comes over there and tells her she tells the family, I can cut that out of her.
Yeah.
And then that's when Toa comes down to defend. She's like, no, you're not touching my sister's face. You're not messing her up.
And then when she's giving her a hug, and at that moment with the hug, and she's hitting her in the leg or whatever.
She's
and then
standing there, beating her with that rock. Yeah.
And nothing. No, it's just like, and I'm like, oh, look at it's trying. It's trying. It can't.
Yeah.
It was, and at that moment, I was not afraid anymore. I was
she's sitting on the roof watching.
Maroha does not give a single F. Like, she does not. She
has her dad's attitude to life.
She seems very opportunistic.
That's so Inuyasha.
Very opportunistic.
Yeah. I think she was like,
okay, we'll let them do all the work, and I'll reap the reward.
I love when she wanted to keep the demon skull too.
That was my favorite.
You guys don't need this, right?
This is mine. Thanks.
She's
she's turning that in. Like, look, I murdered this demon all by myself. Pay no attention to those people behind the curtain.
I don't know them.
It's funny, and then now we see the demon hunter finesse of Satsuna.
Yeah, using the moth ability to put them to sleep.
Yeah, very, very. That was beautiful. That was a really nice scene.
Yeah, the resting moth.
Very elegant summon. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was very nice. And then she has the powder, which was actually brought up by Maroha. She was like, "You had that a minute
Don't you
ago."
have some? Don't you? You're a demon hunter. Don't you have some kind of powder to weaken the thing?
Yeah, and she was like, "You didn't want to use that on your sister back there. You were just going to straight up murder her, but you'll use it on a 5-year-old." Like, okay.
But again, Maroha called it out. Toa was flat out saying, I'm your sister. We're related. Blah 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 blah. And it's confusing and scaring Sasuna.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, Maroha kept pointing out the fact that she's a half-blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was just like, stop effing calling me that. And she was like, oh, it's a sore spot for you, huh? She's like, that's why she's getting so pissy about it, because it's a sore spot. She doesn't like the fact that she's a half demon.
And then now we jump over to the point where they found the root that was on the sacred tree.
Yeah. Now, before we jump over to that, can we talk about Cyclone Burst for just a second?
What's up with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like I said in our first episode, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Inuyasha,
Mm-hmm.
but the few things I do remember is one of my most distinct memories was the episode where the monk unwraps his hand and
Right, yeah.
uses that cyclone
The vortex.
to channel, and sucks in this
The
horde
wind
of
tunnel.
demon insects.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the wind tunnel sucks in a horde of demon insects and gets infected.
Yeah.
And the minute
Remember that one?
the minute I saw Sasuna's armor, weapon, and then the cyclone burst,
It does look like the monk armor.
yeah. So I'm starting to kind of get a feeling that Kade didn't just take her in and keep an eye on her. Like, she was just like, okay, I know who you are. I know what you're capable of. We're putting you with them.
Yeah. Well, she was trained by Kohaku. She was trained by him. And of course, I'm pretty sure that Sango and Moroku are still around. Like, they might be
Yeah.
in the village chilling, like, because they have a whole army now of demon hunters.
Yeah.
They could have
they
started
had.
the whole clan back. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, they definitely went forth and prospered. Is what they
because,
did.
Yeah.
because originally the clan was dying out
Yeah.
originally. She bringing back pretty much that, because mainly the only reason their tribe was really dying off was because of the one major threat that was happening in the original stories with Moroku. He was pretty much killing them off.
Well, not Moroku, but Naraku.
Naraku.
was killing them off whenever they
Yeah.
came to hunt them.
But now that it looks like they probably have reestablished the village,
Yeah.
and that's probably where Sango and Moroku are, and that's probably where the two daughters are
Yeah.
from the first episode.
They've made it their home, their base of operations.
Yeah. So that's probably why Moroku probably taught her some of the monk things.
I wouldn't doubt
So, I mean, it makes sense.
it. Yeah.
And of course, they probably know who she is.
And the wind tunnel kind of thing almost has, because with Wind Scar, all it is just a giant gust of wind from the blade.
Couldn't
And I think Shomaru had an ability similar.
similar, yeah. But it was Inuyasha's sword that could do the
Wind, yeah.
wind scar.
I don't know. It was just a nice little thing to see.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to really piece together for myself. Seeing just how they've taken aspects of the original characters and kind of mixed and matched them into these three princesses.
Yeah, we're not
You know,
even they still even haven't given us the full cast, because there's like a Shippo character we haven't seen, but they've shown us.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
there's a gentleman or a girl in the image I use for the stream. We have no idea who that is.
yeah, and there's a lot of things we don't know. And again, that could not be Kilala. That could, we don't even know the name of that. I don't even know if they use the name Kilala. That could
They
be
do.
one of Kilala. Is it?
Yeah, actually,
did.
if I'm not
Wasn't
mistaken,
there a kitten one though? I swear I saw another. I mean, I know Kilala turns into a
Like a
little
tiny
Kilala
cat, yeah.
and then gets to be a big Kilala, but I thought there was another kitten.
There might be more. There's Shippo, the tiny fox.
But now we get a raccoon.
Yeah, I remember. Love Shippo.
But yeah,
But
that is
anyway,
Kilala
If
because they even
if Shippo
stated
survived the little twin girls from the first one, because they really liked some Shippo.
Yeah.
when they meet up with Murha, thinking that she's the demon terrorizing the village, in the text underneath it actually says that it's Kilala.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's a demon. It's gonna live a long time.
Well, and the type of breed she is, they're gonna have their longevity is gonna be.
They
pretty
might
long.
have more too, I'm thinking later. But anyways, back on track. Sorry.
So now we're coming pretty close to the end. Not exactly the end as of yet for episode 3. They found the root that the demon tree attached to from the sacred tree. And then the youngest even brings up, was like, can it absorb the powers of its host?
Yeah, this is when they point out that they were like, when you were still a baby, we took this thing down.
Yeah.
Which is what we saw in the first episode. Which I was like, okay, nice tie-in, nice,
Yeah.
And we
nice
find out
connectivity here.
the Bone Eater's well was actually made from a part of the
Sacred
sacred
tree.
tree.
Mm-hmm. Hence why it had the portal ability.
Yeah.
But this also, this now brings up my question from episode 2 of what the hell was this booming voice that was coming from the Tree of Ages saying, because of the Rainbow Pearls, I am reborn in this era, and opens up that portal.
Okay.
That, I think it was the tree itself.
I don't think so. I'm thinking that was Roothead.
I thought it was Roothead as well. I was actually about to say that. I feel like it was the root demon.
Maybe. I don't want to give. I'll explain what I think it is when we're done discussing, because it kind of. I watched the preview for 4.
I did too.
Well, we'll discuss the preview.
Yeah. I'll bring my tree theory up after.
I mean, that's a possibility too.
I mean, I'll go ahead and throw my tree theory in right now, which I think is going to end up being kind of an overarching issue for the series itself, with all the time jumping and stuff that may or may not be happening. But I'm starting to think that Roothead is going to come back as the Tree of Ages.
Maybe. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Roothead is going to come back and as the Tree of Ages, and therefore can be in all these different time periods, and they have to, literally time hop and take down each variation of him.
That would be very interesting to the story. I would really like that, actually. Be very, very interesting.
But then, of course, when you get... and again, I'm thinking this for the series, for the show, you get down to the fact of near the end of it, okay, we've taken down all of his cross-timeline iterations. Now we have to go back to feudal Japan and destroy Roohead, but there's the risk of killing off the Tree of Ages, which means whatever they do, they have to be careful because they could be permanently trapped in feudal Japan.
Well, there's that, but also...
Or they could destroy the timeline. They could destroy...
It could really... That's the main problem right there.
Yeah.
If the sacred tree is destroyed in the feudal Japan time frame, there goes the original series out the window.
Right.
Right, yeah.
There is no Moha, there is no Toa, there is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it could cause an issue where it, folds back in on itself, in a time vortex or time loop type deal, and destroying the Tree of Ages destroys anything that's happened.
That's a theory, yeah. But I'll give mine at the end because it ties in with the stuff.
Now that we've discussed all that, and now we're back into the modern era, where now we're back at their apartment.
Sota and his wife.
And his wife, who I love. I love her.
She's like, oh yeah, we've had this discussion before about demons and everything like that. Then she's about the blade that is broken on the table.
Yeah, she was like, this was on loan from the museum. She's like, I guess we'll just act like we'll keep it a little longer.
Which makes me wonder why Toa had it. Did Toa go and pick it up from the museum and was bringing it back to them? Or was it something that Toa just carried around willy-nilly whenever she wanted?
Did one of them work for the museum?
Yeah, is she like a curator?
The family, actually, they can borrow stuff from the museum.
Because their family has a big lineage of past era, pretty much.
Because it could have been on display at the shrine, at the temple they lived in.
Well, that's true, because their shrine could have rooms that are pretty much tour spots.
Yes.
And then Moha comes walking out.
That's an Inuyasha.
I've never dumped hot water over my head like that before. That was amazing. Comes walking out just stark naked.
Yeah, that's
covering sodas.
That's a throwback from the original, which I loved.
Yeah, she is so Inuyasha's daughter.
Yeah, straight up. No one can tell me otherwise.
Yeah, and Soda actually brings it up. Like they actually discuss that. He actually talks to his wife about that in the next moment, and he's like, "Yeah, Mom and Grandpa think that she's related. Well, Mom thinks she's related to us. That's
and the daughter's sitting there too. May is also sitting there because they're discussing that as well in front of her."
So Soda says, according to Mom, that could be Kagome's daughter. And they were just like, oh, so that's your niece. And May's just like, yeah, I have 3 big sisters now.
Yeah, she's so happy.
Meanwhile, Soda's over there like figure how am I going to afford 3 teenage girls?
3 teenage girls, a toddler, or a young child.
There are 3 teenage girls that have an appetite of a demon.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Like, it's probably Moha who eats Moha.
She's gonna,
Yeah, I love her. her. She's like my spirit animal sometimes. I love her. Whoever wrote her, I love them. They really meshed well with Inuyasha and Kagome. Like, cause she has the spunk of
Yeah.
Kagome sometimes,
she
where
has
she's
this-
like, "Hey, listen,
She's got
you're
the
acting
sass
fool."
of Inuyasha,
Yeah,
yeah.
the spunk and the compassion of Kagome.
Yeah,
Sass
I
and the
love
ego
it.
of Inuyasha.
Yeah.
and there's the actual moments where Inuyasha never thought on his action.
Yeah, she actually thinks. That's the Kagome side of her, and it is so good, and I really enjoy it.
Now we're in the bedroom.
Yeah, the girls, they're talking, and
We actually
Toa's
find
like
out.
trying to sleep.
Well, she's still
and-
asleep from
yeah.
the powder.
At this moment,
And yeah, that's when we
Moha
find out.
and
Tasuna.
Yeah, Sesu is what actually Moha calls her at one point.
Sesu.
Stop
Sesu!
calling me that.
I like Setsu
And
better.
they're talking, and she's talking about Moha brings it up. You don't sleep, do you? And that's when we find out about the butterfly.
The dream butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
is very
so
fascinating.
Yeah.
This
So it's the
explains,
curse.
and I think this is why during the fire explains why she could not smell her sister. That she
Yeah.
like when she hopped over the burning tree because she had to back away because the tree was about to fall on them. When she got back to the other side.
Well,
where
actually,
she was-
Sasuna pushed her.
her.
She pushed her away from her.
she
to save
is
her.
the reason they were separated.
Yeah, she pushed her away, and so that I'm sure that guilt's probably
During
carried
that
on
moment-
both of them at one point. But
during that moment, that is when the dream butterfly took her. Is my guess.
That's what I was gonna bring up. I don't know exactly when, but I'm pretty sure it is there, and she doesn't remember anything.
yeah, she doesn't remember
Hmm.
any of it, and Maroha
To
brings
lose
it up.
her scent completely, to be able to not to track her.
So the dream butterfly comes to when it comes to the realm, when it out of that world, what happens is you don't sleep and you never dream again,
Yeah.
which is some type of Freddy Krueger butterfly.
Actually,
It's
I
actually the reverse of Freddy Krueger.
I would
Yeah.
love to
Yeah.
have
Don't
that
sleep.
if Freddy Krueger actually existed. I would love
You and
for
the-
a dream butterfly to.
Oh, great
Yeah.
dream
It's like
butterfly,
reverse.
come forth and rescue me.
That's
So,
your
and-
only safety net for Freddy
Yeah,
Krueger.
you're true. So it also took her memory, right, from
Yeah.
as a child.
Yeah, it takes her
So-
childhood
Yeah.
memory. Yeah, Maroha even calls her out. She's just like, I bet you don't remember your childhood either, do you?
Yeah,
Which, hey,
And then-
not gonna lie, that's the side of it I wouldn't mind.
yeah. This when Toa wakes up and says the stuff that she says.
It's all my fault.
She feels guilty. Yeah, the guilt that she has because she's been holding on to that guilt since she lost her.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was internal monologue. That was
Yeah.
all internal monologue and thought process for Toa. The minute she wakes up, she says Sasuna, and then boom, credits.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, another cliffhanger.
So she has to. Yeah, she knows that they need to go back and actually
Yeah,
find
they-
the dream butterfly and
Well, in the
help her
first
sister.
episode, they actually show her in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
So they're all three together. Yeah, so they are going to go back.
So that's one of the reasons they go back. I'm sure there's going to be other reasons and other things we're going to learn.
But right now, they got to figure out how to get back to feudal Japan because they are stuck in modern time.
And I find it where after all this, where she jumps down, says her sister's name, then goes into the credits. The first scene of the preview for the next episode is Moha and Grandpa hugging, and Grandpa is crying.
Yeah, and I mean, are we ready to actually discuss the teaser info for the next one?
If anybody else doesn't have anything else from 2 or 3, we can jump into the preview.
I mean,
for
aside
next
from the
episode.
fact that I agree with what we just pointed out, what Sarah Buttons just pointed out, with them technically being stuck in modern Tokyo, because even during the segment where they flash back to feudal Japan, Kade is telling them, they can get back. It's just gonna be real hard.
Mhm.
Like, it's gonna be damn near impossible.
They don't know
Yeah.
how the portal works.
And
They don't-
like we said, Kade,
Kaede. Lady Kaede.
Grandma 952 years old.
What?
She has some senzu beans too, all right?
She's from feudal Japan, so that woman is.
I was gonna say I could buy Grandpa. Okay, I
She's-
could buy Grandpa.
She's also a priestess,
living that
though.
long with modern medicine. I don't know about her. She's
She's a
on an
priestess,
all
though.
vegan diet. She does like calisthenics every day. I don't know
I
what
don't know.
she's doing, but I need that
I don't know.
longevity
But
there.
she's also a priestess as well. A very strong priestess, mind you.
Okay.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, and we're going through this, and it's like we're okay. So we're good to go into the preview, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
I
in,
would
let's go.
and I will explain my tree theory in the preview.
All right,
And-
I'm ready to hear it.
Well, when we get to the point, I want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Talk to it.
like there's this whole comedic, and there's the whole moments of little things that are going, and then we get to the scene for the preview where there is a priestess, a tree, girl with long black hair and a white robe. Is that
The
Kagome?
No, the
Well,
priestess.
actually, okay.
That
So hang on a second before
Go
we
on.
get there. Let me
Go on.
clarify and call it out. They say it in the little voiceover that Maroha's plan is to try and strike a deal with the tree.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. As I further go into that does not look like Kagome. That's somebody else.
Actually, I
No.
thought it said that she would go strike a deal with Roothead.
Oh yeah, with Roothead. But well, I kind of based on my
I-
theory, I kind of integrate Roothead and the
And the
Tree of
tree
Ages
together,
into
yeah.
a synonymous entity at this
Technically,
point.
they're the same, but they also are separated.
Uh-huh.
That priestess is the priestess from the first one. That is Inuyasha's original love interest. I forgot her name.
Kikyo.
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 That is Kikyo. Kikyo is, from what
Is
I
that how they
understand,
sealed the well?
yes, I believe so. That's how they sealed the well, was with Kikyo. She is actually part of Tree of Ages.
That's
My
one of the
theory.
when Roothead merged and part of the binding and process. I think that
Yes.
all had to do with that because Kikyo was the one that bound him the first time.
Because she's dead, but not dead. I could agree with you on the voice being Roothead that announced, that. But I also think it was Kikyo
Thought too.
because of, I believe she's intertwined with the worlds. Same theory like you do have, Kirito. But
Okay.
and that's how all that works. Is I believe like she is part of the tree, and that's how the teleport works and everything. Because when they go in there, you see her. I know who it is, and the Sacred Tree has a lot to do with the original anime and stuff like that. And she's bound to it now. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
So
let's basically surmise and call it out. Kikyo's essence in the Tree of
Yes.
Ages makes a deal with the three princesses.
Yes.
I mean, she even it even says it in the voiceover and everything, and calls out, "Princesses, I've been waiting for you," or
yes.
or
yes.
I need you, or something like that.
I think Kikyo knows, because Kikyo is the one who originally tried to seal Roothead.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that she strikes a deal with them or gets them to help, and with dealing
basically-
with that situation.
Yeah, basically, she'll use what power she can, bound with the tree,
Because
to
it
open
looked
the
like-
gateways for them.
It looked like the tree was engulfing her, and I'm pretty sure that's probably part of Roothead. I don't think it's part of her.
They're still separate because I think the only reason Roothead, with this kind of theory and what's going on right
Yeah.
now, the only reason Roothead does not have full control over
It's
the
because of
Tree of
Kikyo.
Ages is because of her.
Yes, that's my
And that
theory.
would make sense.
That's my theory. That's what it is. Of course, I had help.
So I hypothesize, or I'll throw this out there for you.
Mhm.
When Roothead kind of made his presence known during the Mistress Three Eyes battle, that booming voice that we heard coming from the tree, I bet you anything that was him trying to manifest.
Yeah.
And Kikyo opened
Wouldn't
the
let
portal
him. Yeah, she wouldn't let him manifest. So, and I'm pretty
to
sure
get
she can
all
open.
three of them together.
I'm pretty sure she can open the portal when any of those pearls are around.
Because it's called, and from what the information we got about the Rainbow Bridge or Path or whatever
It's
you
a
wanna call
rainbow.
it,
Yeah, I think she's intertwined with that, and I think the
It's-
rainbow pearls came from it.
Yeah, Maroha calls it out. She was like, "I can barely move. Is this what I get for going through the Rainbow Gate?"
Yeah,
The Rainbow
So
Corridor.
there is some story told about it that she knows about.
that we don't. I think she knows more. I don't know if she was left as a child or not, or
Something had to happen because from the
She knows way
personalities and
too
everything
much.
that she knows too much.
Yeah.
From what
I mean, she knows about Shishomaru.
Yeah.
She is too much like her parents to not have been influenced by her parents.
yeah,
Fact that
say-
whenever Kagome's mom and grandpa were like, "Oh, it's Kagome," and, that might be Kagome's daughter, and they were very calm about it. Like they weren't like shocked.
Well, because they expected, because with over 14 years, obviously they expect grandchildren.
Yeah,
yeah.
but they weren't like, "Oh, that's their like." It wasn't like a shock of, "Oh,
Yeah.
they're dead," and we,
And they really never expected to really see their grandchild from Kagome either,
yeah.
because of the
True.
whole of her being in the feudal era type deal.
Yeah,
That's true.
but I'm pretty sure the pearls and the gateway are intertwined, and Kikyo has something to do with it. But I think always, no matter where you're going to be teleported at, it's probably always going to be to the tree.
Yeah.
In the
Because
modern
the tree
era.
is kind of a
The tree's
hard
the new well.
point, a hard
Yeah.
point in time.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. That's my theory. But That's why I wanted to wait till the end to explain it, because I didn't want to,
because of the tie-in with
with
the
Kikyo
preview.
and everything in the preview, because you actually see her in the thing, and
It's nice that we've gotten a more of a filled-in story on the twins.
yes, it is. I really enjoyed it.
It's like I'm not really expecting their backstory. In the beginning, out of anyone's backstory, I expected to probably be the longest would be Mohas.
I actually don't think. I think in this series they're gonna probably focus more on the twins, which obviously I think they are, because we're trying to get memories back for
Yeah,
one of them.
I think.
And I think
Well,
Baroha is going to be like kind of the side character in this, which would be a very different
I
change.
think the first 12, the way this is going, and the way they kind of did the transition into for 2 to 3, where they did a slight recap. I have a feeling this is going to be about 24, 25 episodes.
I'm just curious. Like, I'm very interested. They were, because the first episode, when you trace back, they were finding artifacts.
And they
Yeah,
were
there was
dealing
the
with a demon.
bicycle seat and
Yes,
everything.
they were trying to find those things. And I'm just curious of what exactly is going on with that.
Yeah,
Like,
because there's the owl demon. That's the one that was watching them at the first episode.
Yes.
That's how he knew the stories, because he's been watching them,
Yep.
which is very interesting.
It's gonna be a long run, and I'm feeling this will. So if we get the solid information that this is going to be a more than 12 episode series, we will be doing a midpoint. Well, the midpoint will probably be with the 12th episode, and we will actually have a guest with us on that one as well, unless he joins in sometime before then.
Mine was kind of a spur of the moment.
Yeah, you were a spur.
But we
Yeah.
love you, and we're happy
Yeah,
to
I
be here.
know.
Spur,
Well,
Sandy
I was
Spur.
supposed to be a fill-in, and they're like, just stay.
Yeah, because it was like last minute with Kirito.
But I feel like I was very helpful with sort of things, and I had a
Yeah.
theory on the tree and everything. And
More
This
theories,
was
more
one of the
thoughts.
first animes I think that Sarah Buttons and I watched together.
yes, it was. Like, we watched a lot of anime, but this was when we were very, we watched this one together.
They were both of my sisters were very
Yeah,
young.
Inuyasha, by the way, not this one.
Well, obviously not this one.
Yeah, both of my sisters and I were very young when we watched Inuyasha, and it was one of the first experience I think most of us had with anime. I mean, I had Sailor Moon and things like that.
Yeah, we
but-
had that growing up, but
So
this one was a good one.
This was definitely it has like that nostalgia feel to it.
Yeah, it
or-
does. That's what I think I like about it.
It's new enough that it's interesting, but it's nostalgic enough that
It gets you. If you're a new person, you're like, okay, this seems pretty good. Kirito's point of view. He's new to the thing, and like he's really grasped onto it. But people who's already seen Inuyasha know these characters. Like, okay, well, where's the rest of them?
I think, he really liked this much better than he did the first one. He was still very lost and confused about it.
Yeah,
I think
and
this one,
as I discussed with Asuna right before we met for the recording tonight, was I think my issue with the first episode was they focused so much on the original character because it was a bringing it up to date.
Yes.
Where are they now type of deal. And
Which is nice for people who've watched it.
it is nice. And it
And
was
it gives you a
nice
little bit of backstory.
Yeah, it was a nice kind of introduction to an overarching plot line that we're seeing roll through these next couple episodes, with Roothead and the tree and everything. But for me, it was just there were so many characters I was unfamiliar with. I was like, I want to get to a point where I'm with characters that I'm learning.
Yeah.
And that's where you're getting at right now.
And that's where I am now with episodes 2 and 3. I am really invested in this series just by the third episode.
That's good to hear. And that's the 3 episode rule.
Well, and they stuck to it and they did a fabulous job of it.
Is there any other theories or thoughts from these past 2 episodes that anyone has?
no, I'm just excited to see where it goes.
No, I gave my opinion on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked it. I gave
think-
my theory on the tree and everything.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track, all of us, with it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. For me, especially with talking to Asuna and Sarah Button here, I think it's really awesome that me coming into this so, I guess, doe-eyed and fresh, I'm kind of seeing the same patterns that they're seeing as long-time fan of the series. So obviously, this is a type of series that you don't necessarily have to have all of the back knowledge of Inuyasha to figure out who people are and associations. They're
Well,
doing a good enough job to call things out.
Well, I never finished actually the original Inuyasha. I never
Didn't
watched
either.
final. I didn't watch final act, but I knew enough to what was going on. I knew the ending already, anyways. But You don't need to finish the whole thing because you got to remember, Inuyasha had such a long gap in it before it was finished, and
But it also cleared out the story that it had at that time.
yeah, and so it took it took a long time, and then I'm happy that they got another one. And I actually did not expect them to do Yashahime,
I didn't
so
expect it either.
it was very nice to see this, which I kind of thought her name was going to be Yashahime.
I did too. I was very surprised it was not.
I'm really interested to see where that name came from.
It means something I can't remember.
Actually, hang on a second.
I'm going to go ahead and close this out. If that's all that we have, our thoughts are wrapped up nice in a bow that we have from what we have seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So thanks everybody that has joined in on the live stream, but also the ones that have been watching from on the YouTube channel. That's where most of our support is needed. We are a group that has been around for a while. We mainly cover conventions and everything of that sort. We hope y'all stick around. This is Rainwolf.
This is Kirito Silverheart.
This is Asuna Silverheart.
This is Lyria.
And special guest Sarah Button.
And over on our YouTube channel, leave a like, comment, maybe even subscribe. Leave some comments for us in the video once it goes live on any of your thoughts that you may have, so we can feed them into the video as well, and also into our thoughts if it's something we haven't thought of. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.